We ready for this? I am Ty Black with the Talking Truth. Okay, and so I have a platform as well. I talk sports too. So you and your fancy setups,
Lord.
okay? You ready, Marquise? He had on the bull stuff, right?
Yeah, big time appreciation for my boy, my piece.
You know what, Eric? You ain't right. John. I'm gonna get off here. Your friends is crazy. You
Just
have another 2 points on them no calls, man. Marquise, we're not gonna even talk about that. We're not gonna even talk about that. I mean, bro, just shoved Curry to the. I mean, shoved him to the ground.
I'm still
It
trying
don't
to get
even
up.
make sense, but it's okay. When you do something on another level, which means them coming back from not even making the playoffs 2 whole years, now the stakes are higher for them, so they got to work harder, and that's okay. That's okay. It's happening. I'm rocking it. I'm rocking all that. I had when my cousin called me, I had pajamas that's Golden State. When I say them my boys, I love that culture. I love that culture. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll always be a Bulls fan. Always. Always. But right now, this is that. All that. I was telling my cousin a little while ago that I don't know who worked in the front office, but when they wouldn't give James Harden that money and let KD, Westbrook, and Harden break up, they was young, but they had a veterans mentality. They were supposed to be what Golden State is now.
I
Somebody
told you.
messed up the church's money. I'm just saying.
I mean, it seemed like they gave up once they lost it. They were down 3-1 and they just gave up, and then KD bounced. But
Yep.
they could have did a lot better in OKC. They drafted well. How can you draft that well and then not take care
Let
of
me
them?
take my hat off. He told me to rate Draymond. First of all, I'm gonna rate him. I'm gonna rate him in order. Clay is he is like super glue next to Curry. They are the Jordan eras, Batman and Robin. Hey, Marquise, get off Draymond. Get off Draymond. He been playing the game. He ain't did nothing different than he been doing. It's just that now everybody that was trying to count them out is pissed off because they actually bounced back for real. Now think about it. Clay just came back in January, okay, from 2.5 years gone, meniscus and an Achilles tear. He just came back. Then they tried to take Curry out and crack his foot in half, knowing he already got bad ankles. Then, then Draymond, who is strong both mentally and athletically, he get out there and hurt his knee, and it ends up being a back problem. So they shouldn't even be in the contending. So the mere fact that they trumped everybody after the top of the half, when I mean after before the help me out before the playoff, before the All-Star games, that's not no.
Uh?
His wife ain't boring. Trust me. They just don't put all their stuff out there for everybody to see. It ain't nobody business. See, y'all used to Nicki and Cardi popping their thing and all that. That's what y'all used to. But if y'all got real wives in y'all life, you don't want nobody looking up, Broadway with your wife. You don't want that. Come on, she popping them babies out real quick. So she evidently she not born. All right. They surely are good. They were young. They living the dream. He helping her live her dream. She supporting him living his dream. That's a real marriage. Next subject.
So,
So because she not being a hoe,
so she, so basically, she ain't just cooking in the kitchen, huh?
man. Listen, it's women around the world know him. He don't give people no attention. You ain't got to second guess him. I'm not calling him perfect, but what I am calling him is faithful. He got eyes. He can see. She
That's
got eyes. She can see.
fact,
But what
fact.
they not doing is being deceptive and betraying to one another. But hey, oh yeah, they show about last night. See, Marquis, they gets it in. Trust me. He be chefing and she be cooking. Okay. Anywho, but back to Draymond. Draymond is a Midwest brother from Michigan who hard knocks, who don't care. If he would have played in the 90s, he would have been a beast. And then he probably would have leveled up like a Dennis Rodman. That's what they call him, the modern day Dennis Rodman. Except for he don't be people don't think he metrosexual or bisexual, which Dennis never was. He just had a different way of living life, and it made the ball players that were, not open or broad about what their thought process was of somebody's sexual orientation. It made them uncomfortable when he pinched them on the butt. Oh, he married himself for publicity. And if you lived in Chicago, he created traffic wherever he went. Whatever. Whatever. Hey, cousin, don't you say nothing to Wanda because you don't know nothing. But
Hey, baby.
Draymond finally
That's
let.
my Steph Curry in the kitchen.
Right. Draymond finally let somebody get to his mental, and that's something he never did. So when he got on the podcast and said, I listened to the noise, I was, tiptoeing around, walking on eggshells, so the refs wouldn't throw me out the game, so I wouldn't have a repeat and make us lose another finals. People wrong for that. He let them get in his head. Now, trust me, game 5 going to be something. Watch.
All right, let's get back to the script. So, the playoffs have been truly amazing, pretty epic to me. Seeing Tatum take down the Nets. Giannis, yeah, there were several injuries and different things people would say about that, but they finally broke through and made it through the finals. Similar to kind of the growth, kind of how the Warriors grew. I can't even describe how big of a Warriors fan she is. It's ridiculous. You already see it. She already talked about the pajamas she was wearing when we called and talked about it a little earlier when we was prepping for the show. But I wrote a little something for my blog, and I wanted to read it to her and read it to y'all. There's been years of disrespect on Steph Curry media, especially from after the first loss when Boston took that 1-0 lead. All of a sudden, is Steph a superstar? Has he had a signature finals performance, or the cold takes, I call them, on why he's so-called not a superstar on the levels of a LeBron or KD even though KD won a title with him and Clay, but we're not even going to go there. So, for years since the Warriors became champions in 2015, I witnessed some of the most disrespectful, albeit not the majority, opinions on Curry and where he stands in the league and history as a superstar. Not only has he changed the game in regards to distance and frequency of the three-point shot, he's changed how defenses have had to pick up shooters with his range, like Dame Lillard. Y'all remember the shot that he hit on Paul George in the playoffs? In-game type shot, past the logo basically. And Trae Young, that's supposed to be the next coming of Steph. They gotta pick those guys up and damn near three-quarters court. You can't guard them and allow them to cross the half court line. You got to immediately pick them up, stop them, put a body on them, something, be in their range because they will pull up and they will dagger you. But some people have a hard time giving Steph Curry his flowers as a superstar, mainly because they feel, let me drop some of these ridiculous points that I've heard over the years. He had KD for 2 of his championships. I seen the look on my cousin's face, the look away.
No, KD had him. KD had him, but go ahead.
Yep. 2, he hasn't had that superstar iconic signature finals moment. And lastly, he hasn't won a finals MVP. Those are really the reasons they say that Steph hasn't made it to a superstar or hasn't been the lead player on a winning team. So, cuz, I know you love Steph Curry. And the reason why she loved basketball. So I'm going to let her explain, A, why she fell in love with basketball, as well as why she fell in love with the Warriors. Go ahead, cuz.
Gotcha. I didn't know much about basketball as a girl because I wasn't into sports, but I was a cheerleader. So at age 12, Dr. Lawrence McCall, God rest his soul, at Garfield Elementary, On Thursdays, we had to sit in the boardroom, which was Dr. McCall's classroom. He taught science as well and learn plays. So one particular day, because us girls, we were just complaining, why do we have to, we're supposed to be practicing cheers. So my little smart mouth gonna raise my hand and ask Dr. McCall, why do we have to be in here? We're girls, we're cheerleaders. And so he walks over to my desk and he says, Miss Black, describe a rebound. You know what that is? I'm like, no. He said, what's a fast break? I don't know. What's defense? I don't know. He said, well, how the hell do you know what to cheer? So I shut up and listened to the plays. And that sparked my love of basketball. I went to school with Mike Finley, Donnie Boyce. I was around all of those players on the regular. They were a year younger than me. So I
They
got to
were his
learn the
finest.
game. I got to learn the game from the born professionals who became professionals, okay? Stephen Scott. Stephen didn't play professional, but he was a great player, okay? So now, fast forward. I was a Bulls fan. You know, I was a Proviso East fan. I don't watch a lot of college ball. It's either high school or pro. I watch you in high school, and I know whether you going pro, and that's it. I'm just not into the collegiate part of it. It's fun, but I'm not into it. So now, fast forward. The Bulls got dismantled. So I started following this team called OKC. And then they got dismantled. So I had to find another team to follow, which became the Golden State Warriors. Who is this Stephen Curry? He looked like a little kid. Who is he? So I paid attention to who he was. I paid attention to his backstory. I paid attention how he's completely been underrated the entire time, and everything he ended up doing, he ended up being number one. His resume has a plethora of complete number ones, including the only basketball player to have a unanimous MVP. I don't know what else they want him to prove to them, but that clutch, that's all that they got to say. I'm talking about the 29-74 this year, where he superseded Ray Allen with the threes, and he's still building it. It's like gonna be hard for anybody to even catch up at this point. So what's really getting me is that clutch point. Guess what he is? A master assistant. So if he's not hitting the three, or he not hitting the shot because he's being guarded 3-on-1, you know, they got him trapped up at his feet, his ankles, and his arms. So he passes, back passes, through his legs, over his head, across the. I mean, what else do you want? He's the master assistant. He's the master shooter. He's the best shooter in the game. He don't need to really prove anything else if they don't give him an MVP. What else is it for him to prove? When KD came to the Warriors, he gave up some of his millions. He didn't give up 50 cents. Millions so that they can pay KD. So why everybody praising? Don't get me wrong. I love KD. He's a great, great, great player. I love him. He up there with Steph. But how do you guys compare him? Because he did what he does is his job, and Steph does was he well in his job, and Steph even gave him the money. So you thought you were gonna go to Golden State and take over the franchise player's place? Who does that? When he's humble, he don't even act like a franchise player. He acts like just a regular dude at Washington Park. He act
But
like just a regular dude. Go ahead.
real quick on that point, and I'm gonna let you keep going. Like you said, he's humble and he stepped back. They praised Dwayne Wade for stepping back for LeBron when he came over. He stepped back and humbled himself and allowed him to grow into who LeBron is now. I mean, he was
Right.
already a dog, but LeBron is closing in on that. To me, Jordan is always going to be 1A. Then 1B is LeBron. Kobe got that 1C to me. I just like the vision that LeBron has on the court and how he is able to make people better. We're going to that another episode.
Exactly.
But that's kind of how I see it. I agree with you where it, like, Steph, like, but it was even better with Steph because Steph was already there. He was already an MVP, already a great player, already setting records and closing in on records. And he stepped back healthy enough, young enough to still do
Absolutely,
his
Marquis.
thing. Wade, a lot of people use, especially when they talk about, you know, LeBron, Jordan, Wade, and why that kills LeBron's GOAT argument. A lot of people say, well, Wade was crippled. He didn't really get hurt until that second season with Miami. But it's true. For most of that time, Wade was declining. So, but Steph was fully healthy, still coming into
Absolutely.
himself. I mean, he's still ascending right now. So
Absolutely.
I agree. Like, he stepped back, humbled himself. He didn't need KD, technically. It just enhanced the load. It helped the whole team, and they built a chemistry until they all of a sudden weren't. We know the reason why, but it was
Here's a
Steph.
big question. Here's a big question for you
Go
for
ahead.
a later show. Who do you know that went to the Warriors team and didn't come out a better player?
Fact, because I just watched some highlights.
JaVale McGee. Andre Iguodala left and came back.
And that was a man.
Iggy definitely is the man.
Yeah, and that
So,
Finals MVP was deserving, but I think Steph was equally as deserving. I think we talked about that
absolutely.
earlier. Talk about that.
But guess what Steph do not do? He don't go complaining about it. He don't go somewhere. Okay, he don't got nothing else to put on his resume except for another chip. He got some chips, and an MVP. That's it. An MVP. That's it. Everybody who comes into the Warriors culture, they develop into better players. So wherever they go, they're elite players because of the culture that they were in. And that's why KD is shell shocked. He gonna be a great player regardless. But had he just stayed there, not saying you take down. I know Draymond called him the B word, but that he ain't the first person Draymond said that too. You all of a sudden you got soft skin. That's crazy. Because when Clay got hurt, KD would have been able to carry them through those finals where they didn't even make the playoffs. KD would have been able to carry it, him and Curry together. But because of pride, you left your goose egg. You left it. It was gift wrap right to him. Now you got to rebuild this all over again. Yep, I like Kyrie, but guess what? Kyrie got other agendas. He played ball, but he a mastermind with his money. So when they get to talking crazy to him, he go, okay, fine me. My money making money. While y'all giving me this check, my money making money. So I'm not going to hurt for anything. How many brothers can you say did that? I'll take my hat off to him. But when it comes down to Steph Curry and Steve Kerr, I made a joke the other night. I said, okay, this game is really tense. It gave me anxiety. I'm not going to kid y'all nothing. I'm not going to hold y'all. No cap. It gave me anxiety. But I said at halftime, Steve Kerr knows somebody that everybody else don't know directly. And that's MJ. He said, MJ, talk to these boys. And put them on that little halftime 3 minute, 5 minute. They came out and killed the game. You understand what I'm saying? It was a little joke, but I'm just saying they connected. Steve Kerr, if you look at who he was back in the 90s and look at his players that he's coaching, they play just like him. Everybody except Draymond because he's not a shooter. But if he wanted to be aggressive and stay in the paint, he would definitely shut anybody down because they move around when he come in the paint. You're getting a foul. If he don't pass the ball and actually go to the bucket, they just have a passing mentality on their team. And no, Trae Young, Ice Trae is great, but the shadow of Curry is Jordan Poole.
Woo! That boy. Let's talk
Man,
about.
listen.
I know this is supposed to be about Steph Curry, but did you see that meme that they made after Poole dropped that performance? And they seen it was Curry in the background looking at him like,
man,
that
son.
boy.
That's how he was looking like, man, son.
Like,
He's like, wow.
I remember that's what I was talking about earlier, how Steph changed the game where you got to pick them up beyond half court. You got to pick them up 3/4 court because Poole barely crossed that line. And I think he might have shuffled and stepped back and almost crossed back.
He was 3 feet from the halfway logo. 3 feet, meaning he took 1, 2, pop.
And I gotta make that face that he made. Like, as soon as he hit it, he turned. Everybody was like,
Man, the pool party. Exactly, Marquise. Exactly. They balling. And you gotta think they young and people. Well, who said it? Dylan Brooks said, "Oh, they getting old. They gon' no. You forgot the bench of the babies that they developing. Did y'all forget that? Y'all gonna be old next year when they come back.
Wiseman ain't even back.
Hey, I'm on the fence about that one. I can't talk about that right now.
I mean, he's still young
I
to
know
me.
Steve Kerr. He good at what he do, but if Wiseman don't come back next year at the beginning, they need to go ahead and pass that up.
KD actually needed Steph. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, because Steph had already had a championship. He was trying to get one. I'm just saying. Did it make the Warriors better? Absolutely. But anybody who goes into that culture, it's like that team is a whole different vibe by itself. Ain't no thugging, ain't no scandal, ain't none of that. It's like whatever they do in their private practice time and their meditation time that they do in a straight alliance, it works. JaVale McGee became a better player when he left. So Marquise, you saying Otto Porter ain't the same as he was when he was with Chicago. Didn't he have an injury?
No, I think he's saying that he might be performing a lot better than he
A
would.
lot better? Okay.
Because I've seen some games, honestly, like I've seen some games where I'm like, where was this Otto Porter for the Bulls? But culture makes players, even players that are washed or supposedly washed, like everybody thought Iguodala was done, and he's come back and he's been able to help almost similarly to how he helped with the original team.
Yeah.
So I think I feel Marquise on that. He's definitely better. Absolutely, I see the comment. Otto is much better. He's playing
Yeah, they just turn
within the
out to be
system.
better players.
Yeah, better coaching, better system, better movement. Otto don't got to feel like he the man. He don't feel like he got to drop 20. He can just go out there and do what he does. Just like most players. Like you can go all the way back to Marquise Spates, Andrew Bogut. There's a whole bunch of different people from the 2014, 15 teams all the way up. You can just select and keep. And even Looney. Looney's been here for quite some
David
time.
Lee. David Lee.
Like the system just made David Lee, David West, the other David. The power forward, David Lee and David West. I forgot it. That's what mixed me up because there's two of them. David Lee and David West.
He allowed people to come in and be themselves. He ain't a ball hog. He be trying to get you in rhythm so everybody can get some. Everybody can get something to eat. Everybody can build their stats. He already built his stats. As long as he playing on the floor, his stats are continue to be built. Whether he get 10 or whether he get 40, he's still building his stats. His resume is still gonna be what it is. Exactly. He definitely allows other people to get theirs. And so them hating him, but that's the way it is. And I don't want to go deep or spiritual and stay, on my cousins,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hit that. Go ahead. Talk about your beliefs.
He's a person who, I don't know what nobody else believes. So I don't want to point a finger or anything like that. But those who do have a relationship with the Father, he go home and he pray and he talk. That's what makes him so different. Because when he come out there, he don't have an edge when he really could have an air. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And they have a very loving relationship. They respect one another. Kurt has came out of championship mentality and now he's teaching it. Even to what's his name? Help me, Sean Livingston. We never thought he was coming back. They got him back and he became a great piece of equipment with the Warriors too. Now he in the front office. Hey, Alfredo.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I agree on that Sean Livingston point. Sean Livingston was actually a broken player when he was on the Clippers. So you're 100% right.
See, I'm telling you, I'm a sports chick. I watch what evolves. Like, don't get me wrong. The Grizzlies, they're entertaining. John Morant is entertaining, but I'm concerned for him. He plays street ball. He plays so hard. I'm concerned the injury, the injury that's gonna be like a Derrick Rose injury. I'm so concerned. Hard,
Yeah, he
hard.
does play.
Sorry, y'all. I had to
Does play with
get my. Can I get a refill?
Cheers. Cheers, cousin.
Hey, Sean
And
Livingston was playing
you.
like Magic Johnson for the Warriors. I swear. That boy was hitting behind the back passes, all type of craziness. They like
Hey, that's
the
when I
fountain
say
of
the
youth or something.
brothers, the brown people and the brothers are made out of vibranium for real. Y'all made out of something special. Because Sean Livingston shouldn't be able to walk. And then if you noticed, in game 4, there was some special shoes that Curry had on his feet. They probably had them made the day after to fit his ankles already. You know, he already got them braces on his ankle. Those he don't ever wear high tops. When you ever seen Curry in a high top? That shoe must got some type of, I don't know. I ain't no sports medicine person, but got some type of silicone or mold to her. Yes, vibranium to hold his feet in place or something. Alfredo, why you think they hate on Curry?
I think that when you revolutionize the game, that's gonna come with it. I mean, that comes with. He literally changed the game. He's a pioneer of the game. There's not too many pioneers of the game that have been in basketball. We can pretty much that have changed the game, pioneers of the game. We can probably count on one hand pioneers of throughout the
Facts.
history of basketball. Well, I think that's why. I think because he changed the game. He made teams actually think about 3-point shots more. And I think that that's why. You know, the game was always an inside out type of game. Always. It always go down low, and
Right.
that sets up the shot. You know, everybody goes down to the lowest person or the center, and then from there it goes from there. You know, I think Phil Jackson had the same amount of
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
when he
yeah.
created the
The
triangle
Jordan
offense. Him
rules.
and
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, I think that people hated on them too because it was something innovative that the game had never seen. And I think that's why
Yeah.
he gets a lot of the hate personally.
That makes
Because I
sense.
think that, you know, this
That
comes
makes
with the
sense.
territory. Not only that, but he's a model citizen. You know, he's a great man. I mean, same thing as LeBron. I mean,
Right.
LeBron's out here building schools, improving the lives of the community. I mean, I just think that, you know, in this society of us always hating things, people have to try to
Gotcha.
find something to hate on.
I think LeBron is phenomenal. When it comes down to his humanitarian, attributes. I don't care for his demeanor as a player.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. As a player, he's a baby.
So I can't take nothing from his athleticism.
I
I
agree
can't
with
take
you
the, but
100%.
exactly, Marquise. I can't take that whiny, flashy air. That's not who Michael wasn't even like that. He was a trash talker. And I know he talked mega stuff. I know he did, because those people would almost disappear on the court when Jordan came, because he would say things. I lip sync watched him one time say, this my house. They not here to see you. They here to see me. I'm like, I would have wanted to smack him. Like, this is my house. He in somebody else's house telling them, hey, they not here to see y'all. They coming to see MJ.
Well,
Cuz, why
did
you
you see
why you
that,
have to do that?
Alfredo?
Why?
Let's see if Alfredo sees the
You
Curry
said
White swap. Did you see them in the stands where Curry's mom was with the husband of the wife? That it was weird. Say it, cuz.
So Dale's girlfriend and Sonya's boyfriend, they used to be married. What? I'm like, what is this? Some type of setup or something? They
And they
couldn't
showed,
find nobody else to date but
and
a divorced couple.
I don't think Alfredo's seen it, but they showed the reason why we know this, or we don't know it for a fact. They haven't came out and said
Eric, you need to.
it was alleged, and of course, Alfredo, you see, Eric is back, right? Uh, but
Eric
but
got
they
history,
said
bro.
they showed there's a meme obviously, and they had pictures, and social media been talking about it for a day or so. But they showed Dale Curry with the ex-wife and Sonya Curry with the ex-husband. And so now everybody's like, how the hell did that swap happen?
That's just, yeah. So now Curry got to hug mom, and then him and dad had a different, and I mean, when I think about this year, I did have questions. Why is he so off? Why is his game so starting to be watered down? What's happening to him? Well, I've come to find out, his parents were going through a, divorce. It still affects, a family, period. They got kids, they married, they got grandkids now. Then I didn't know he was in school. So now he's studying. He got this golf tournament organization for underprivileged children that him and Aisha have launched, and then you still in the playoffs, and then you got an injury, and then your friend injured. It's like that's a lot on the brain. You got to really have strong mind to be an athlete. You really do. Because you hear all of the chatter. It makes sense. If you got a whole lot of stuff going on that you're trying to balance, yeah, that's a true statement, Marquise. But they probably did it to each other, but hers was found out. And so
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say,
we're not
yeah,
trying to
I'm not
be
gonna,
TMZ. We're not trying to be
right.
TMZ until something comes out, then we'll report on it. The supposed,
Yeah.
the woulda, coulda, shouldas. We try not to speculate per se. If it's allegedly or supposedly, we try not to go into that. Obviously, there could be bans to our accounts and stuff like that. But
Right.
we just let the
I just pray that's not the case, but
yeah.
it's
But
everywhere.
but but it goes back to how great of a man Steph Curry has been with, like, he's still with his wife. Obviously, Dale Curry was still with his wife till a certain age, so Steph hasn't reached that age yet. But for Steph to be going through all that, witnessing all of that, seeing his dad, like, most of us that, were close to our dads really flow, especially men, flow with their dads. We do exactly or kind of come out to uh, equivalent or at least some characteristics of what they do. So, him seeing that, him still standing on his morals, still, uplifting his wife and his children.
I just respect the fact that Steph is humble. That's why he gets all of my cheer, all of my fandom, because I do not care for arrogant players. I do not care for poor sportsmanship. Now, in the 90s, I did like a Charles Barkley who ran in the stands and smacked the heckler because he kept it up. Now, is it right? No. Am I a violent person? No. But that was the culture back then. The Ron Artest, the bad boy Pistons. That was a culture. The Charlotte Hornets, well, Lonzo Mourning, they just would scrap. They
So you
would.
so basically you was a fan of the attitude era of the NBA,
I
like the
Yeah.
WWF.
And that's another person I don't
Nobody
understand,
won't be.
Marquise. Why are they giving Russell Simmons? Because he's not a thug brother. He not a grimy brother. So we don't honor the people who are showing us a great template of how to live. Not saying you got to do exactly what they do, but at least some of the moral compasses of what they do. Why are they so upset because Sierra was found and now she's a better woman and he's a happy man? What's the problem? So y'all's trying to still chop her up to 10 years ago? She's moved on and evolved.
The problem is that it's easier to perpetuate that type of energy instead of perpetuating the correct energy and positive energy. It's all, to me, it's all
Mm,
done by design.
mm.
Yeah, it's deep because when you got guys like LeBron, you got guys like Steph, you got guys like Russ, who they try to find the smallest thing. I think the Russ might have a little bit of something that people can hold over him with how y'all remember the draft day photo of Russ Wilson, who was next to him, that meme that went crazy with the girl with the mouth wide open because she thought she had came up on the lotto. He ain't with her no more. He did leave, but for the
But he
black
wasn't
women in our
married to her. He
hold on,
wasn't
wait,
married.
I agree. I agree. So for the black women, I love y'all. Y'all beat us to death sometimes, but I love y'all. But that's a black man that left a white woman for a black woman and uplifted her and took her kid in. Stop saying we bad black men.
You're not. You're not. But those are all, it's stigma, stereotype, and epigenetics. Look that up. That's what all that is. Um,
Hey, hold
when
on,
it
hold on.
comes down
Wait. I think that's the first in the 2 months we've had a podcast.
epigenetics,
How many? I think
epigenetics.
that's more than 4 syllables. 3? I think that's the first 4-syllable word we've had.
Knock it
It
off,
might be more
child.
than that. Can you type that in the comments or something? Because we all about to look
Can't
that up.
deal with you,
Because I'm
Johnson.
finna
Can't.
the very first word of our next recording, Alfredo. I'm gonna be like epidemics.
Okay, I'm typing in there.
Alphabetic soup chips and celibates.
It is
Alphabetic
a
accelerant.
culture, a culture thing. When Russell got in her life, he assessed who he was with, what would elevate her. And when when he purchased her masters and gave them to her for a birthday present, I was like, oh, he win man of the year. So y'all could call him a square, a circle, a triangle, lame, or whatever. But how many of people in the music world went into it ignorantly and needed, I think Chance the Rapper just paid for Anita Baker's. How long she been in the game and didn't have her own masters?
That's
Man,
why
listen.
I think that's why I had to get Alfredo in, because he always comes with an excellent angle that I don't really think about right away. It's like in the back burner. But when he dropped that, when you ask the question, why do people do stuff like this and act like he's not a superstar or he's not the cool superstar to back, that's like an epic point. That's like, it's probably got to be at the top. It can't be about his game. It's really about the corny dude syndrome, where if you ain't the cool black dude like Kyrie was before he started burning sage, or Iverson was, or LeBron and stuff like that. Like LeBron, he still got a swag to him. Like people loved and jumped on that bandwagon because he was crowned the king coming out of high school, et cetera, et cetera. So, but with Steph, like you said, he came from Davidson. He came from a married family. He got a brother that's killing in the league. He light skinned. The light skin versus dark skin.
Oh
I'm in the
yeah.
middle of it, so I don't have a
Which is the most idiotic argument behind it. So
yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
It's
Like
definitely
him,
stupid
him
because
being
who else, another person who changed the game and they hated on him in such a way that it just caused so much. Now he was already dealing with some stuff, but it caused more turmoil in his life, and that was Iverson. He totally changed the game too.
right, and wasn't
And what did people do to him? They
Yes,
hated on him.
yes, that's what I'm saying to your
You know
point.
what I mean? It's a pattern. It's a pattern. If you're the first to do something, you're the first to change something, you're the first to be a rebel against something. They're going to
Absolutely,
hate on you. There's a pattern here.
uh,
absolutely. I used to, my son Alfredo. I used to sit and braid Jeremy every time Iverson changed his hair. I braided Jeremy's hair just like that. I was a huge Iverson fan.
and Iverson is
Good-hearted person. I live
exactly.
right in the town where all of that, they don't even really honor him here. He should be
Like
everywhere.
he looked like a thug per se to those that claim stereotypes, but his whole career he didn't have any issues. Braids, tattoos,
Hip
armband,
hop clothes, they
bag,
was just mad.
baggy
But that's the
shorts.
era that we were in. It looked great, and he earned my respect. He was already a culture person, our culture. So he got the swag on, the baggy clothes, hip hop, blah blah blah. But when he crossed over and broke Jordan's ankles twice, all you could do is hail to the little prince. He ain't the king, but he's surely the prince.
Yeah,
And he basically got vilified because he talked about pride. Let's be honest.
yeah.
You're right. You're right. I'm with you when you're right.
It's sad how they try to knock down some of these mega stars that have innovated and created a new
Yeah,
lane.
well,
Like even my son, like I be at his basketball camps, and Junior, like since he was 7, he's been able to shoot from 3-point range. He loves LeBron, but his shot is inspired by Curry, and he's always shooting from the. I can't get him to go in and drive for a layup. Like, just go in for a layup. He just like, nah, I got this 25-footer. Like, what are you doing? And it goes in. Like, I'm screaming from the sidelines half the time, and he hits it, you know, in a good amount, in a good rate. But it's changed so much. Like, you hardly even hear people talking about, like, kids talking about dunking. Remember how crazy we were about dunking? Like, first it
I'm
was
still
Jordan.
crazy about dunks.
First it was Jordan's dunk, this dunk. Now it's basic per se compared to what's going on right now. The Air logo, like we was all hyped trying to do that in the late 80s, early 90s, right, Alfredo? And then
Dominic got robbed in that dunk contest.
Dominique Wilkins.
Absolute. See, that's why I like you, Alfredo. I love Jordan, but they cheated him. I know he laid in the air, but that he did. Man,
it's the truth.
They do the same thing for LeBron.
And Jordan touched the line too.
So then we move to the.
Man, I get all type of heat for saying that.
So then you move to the next iconic dunk. I mean, I agree. Dominic, the Plastic Man. I know they talk about Ogden as the real Plastic Man was Dominique Wilkins. That was the human highlight reel and he could do some crazy stuff. But that 88 or 89, I can't remember which year he did this dunk in. But there was one dunk, like every one of his dunks was super powerful. But he was so high and came down with so much power. I was like, yeah, that boy might lose. Yeah, I was 7, 8 years old, but I was into sports. I was into basketball. I was into the TV screen. And yeah, he definitely got robbed. Just like Aaron Gordon got robbed in the Zach LaVine joint. But let's look at the. I know we kind of going off subject, but since we talking about dunking, that Vince Carter dunk was the next iconic dunk.
Yeah.
Let's go home. You feel me? So like we had 1, 2, 3. The next era was probably the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, where it's a really, really top-notch dunk contest where it was memorable. But now it's like kids that are coming up.
I don't know. You're leaving out Dwight Howard.
He ain't dunked that. Nobody even believes in that dunk. I agree it was iconic, but it wasn't as iconic as these other dunk contests. Because did he get beat by Nate Robinson?
Yeah.
So it's like it kind of kills the iconic nature.
But that was
still was a great dunk.
That was a great throw the ball through the hoop. He didn't dunk it. His hand didn't touch the rim. But I agree. It was an iconic, memorable dunk. But I'm just talking about like contests. Like he did that one dunk is not as memorable as all of Vince Carter's dunk in the 2001 and also the Aaron Gordon versus LaVine dunk. Do you agree or do you disagree on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Kids just want to shoot threes now. They just want to shoot. Like you can even.
They want to be Steph Curry because they're following the trendsetter, the polarized person, which is Curry.
So that alone lets you know that we made so many points. He's a great man of God, absolute gym hog. Like he stay in the gym. He stay practicing handles. He comes before the game to shoot those those tunnel shots. Y'all see them tunnel shots he be hitting? Like he's a gym rat. Like Kobe was a gym rat, absolutely. But Curry just shoots nonstop. That's why he's able to hit those shots where he shoots and then turns around and 2 seconds later the ball goes in. But he done already stared at the crowd and ran all the way to half court by the time it goes in. So like, go ahead.
So just to I'm pretty sure you guys know the resume, but this adds all of the achievement, not even all, I'm just gonna give you the first. All the first time. He's a First place all time for consecutive games with at least one three-pointer made in a single season. First place all time for games with at least 4 3-pointers made and 4 assists. First place all time for games at least 5 3-pointers and 5 assists. First place for all games for at least 6 3-pointers and 6 assists. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then first place for all consecutive games with at least 1 3-pointer made with 189. Like, I don't understand what else they want. First time at least 3-pointers made with 536 games. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do y'all hate him? His resume speaks for itself. In the second, third, or fourth, he ranked, and now this year he jumping in the top 10, and he almost at 5 of the top 10 player. And if he gets this MVP, he gonna be number 3. He gonna bump LeBron down.
I'm going to talk about this particular series. The points per game average for the big three for the Warriors, right? Klay, Steph, Draymond. Steph is averaging 31 points a game. He just dropped, 43 in game 4, right? After he got hurt and they thought he was going to be coming out in the boot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Klay is averaging 17 points a game. Draymond, this man is averaging 5 points a game. He does everything else. Like, he's great at initiating the offense.
Come on.
But you've been able to depend on Steph through 4 games of the finals to keep them in contention, because they really should have been blown. If Steph was 19, 20, 17 points a game like LeBron in that one series, I'm just talking about that series. We're not saying LeBron ain't great. We're not knocking his greatness. I'm speaking on that specific series because people always talk about Steph not showing up. But there's never been a 17-point average for Steph in the finals. But he's carrying the team at 31 points a game. Klay Thompson, I know he's coming off an injury, but he's usually good for 24, 25 points a game. And Draymond only giving them 5 points, which we're not used to him being a scorer anyway. But how are you still 2-2 against the best defense in the league, especially in the second half? Boston is the best. People talk about Miami. People talk about the Grizzlies' defense, Phoenix's defense. But the best defense in the league in the second half, and I think for the full year actually, was the Boston Celtics. And Tatum has taken over, like I said earlier, ran through Durant and Kyrie, ran through Giannis, and I forgot who they ran through. Oh, and ran through the Heat, Jimmy Butler, and those guys that just went to the finals 2 years ago. So he's went through a great defense in Miami. Went through Giannis. They still have a great defense, even though they were down Middleton. Everybody's going to use injuries as an excuse. And they went through KD and Kyrie Irving, who are probably 2 of the most prolific scorers, ball handlers in the last 5 years. So they're going against a team that's ascending, young guys that are hungry, and Steph single-handedly dropping 30 points a game has kept them within the series. So let's talk about game 4 when they talk about the words you gave me earlier, signature finals performances. Could that have been one of many? Because we could talk about many. But for this finals, that had to be that signature Steph superstar moment. What do you think?
Absolutely. Ain't nothing else to say. Absolutely.
43 points. Go ahead, Alfredo.
I don't think that he. Why are we putting so much emphasis on that?
It's wild criteria. I don't even like asking people what their criteria is in regards to tiers of, like, they don't even put people in tiers. It's sad because, like, I try to give people the benefit of that. When people call people trash, I always ask them, is this guy trash based off of a tier or trash period? Are you saying they can't play ball? They should not be in the NBA? Because you can be like let's say you on superstar tier with like a Jimmy Butler, Tatum, Morant, etc., and you put Trae Young in there. Like, who's trash out of that group? There's always we use that when we talk trash about sports and stuff. The word trash. We don't necessarily mean that they're horrible, but if you compare those, who is the trash out the bunch? Who's the worst?
In comparison to who?
Right. So I get it. So I try to give them my out. Like, if you saying Steph is trash compared to what tier? Like, because to me he's past Giannis. He's past
Here's a stat that'll help you solidify what you're saying. Yes, ma'am. Steph Curry is one of 4 players in NBA history to record at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals in a playoff series, clinching the win. The other 3 are Michael Jordan, Hersey Hawkins, and Scottie Pippen. Who they're comparing him? He in elite, in comparison. He in the talking points with the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and to follow up with your point too, what happens if the next game he drops 60? So then the 43 games don't count?
It just shows he's ascending.
Like, if he keeps going higher, what are you gonna say? Like, it's still a dope ass performance though. I feel you.
So listen at this. I'm a stat person when I get to reading somebody's resume. So Steph Curry made the most points to complete a 4-game sweep with 146 points in 4 games. So I don't know what they talking about. One of 2 NBA players in history to make 5 3-pointers in 6 straight playoff games. The only other person that did it is Klay Thompson. I mean, what? There's nothing to compare. It's just like you said, Alfredo, when somebody changes or polarizes something, they become the moving target. And so now I don't even know what they're really truthfully expecting. I really don't. I'm trying to figure, because I'm fair with the game. If somebody fouls somebody, I'm fair with it. I don't say that the refs is cheating. Now, when the refs are cheating, they cheating. They tried hard. Game 4. They tried hard. It's just that Steph said, you know what? He went into his personal Mamba mentality and said, we're not going down 3. We should have been up after game 4. We should have been up 3-1. If the truth be told, because game 1, I don't know what happened in the 4th quarter. That's real talk. We shouldn't even be having this conversation about
I don't trust
the Celtics.
I don't trust the ref. The reason why is because there was a ref that was caught cheating.
There's a stat that, and I got to give a shout out to B-Ball Breakdown on YouTube for this stat. Go check his page out. His breakdowns are amazing. The stat was, there are 4 people that have averaged 27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 55% true shooting percentage. 4 players to average those averages in the finals. Jordan.
The GOAT.
We know back then they wasn't shooting 3-pointers, right?
Yeah.
So Jordan was able to do it from 15 to 22. The next person is LeBron James. Then we got Giannis, who we know runs the court in 4 steps and dunks a whole lot. He's more than that. I agree. Milwaukee fans, don't kill me. He's evolved. But we're talking about 3 players that dunk a lot. They get in the hole a lot. They get fouled a lot. They do a lot of fadeaways, post up like Jordan. LeBron can get in the lane at will. Giannis can get in the lane at will. Then you got 6'3", maybe 6'2", if we're being honest. Steph Curry shooting 55% true shooting percentage, which we know he shoots a hell of a lot of 3-pointers. So 27-5-5 and 55% true shooting. And he hasn't shown up in the finals. Those are his numbers in all his career. I'm just saying. Whew. I don't get it. I'm with you, cuz I don't get it.
I don't care. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's
They
just
don't
hate
got nothing
just to
better to
hate.
do,
That's all.
Alfredo. Right.
Read a book, man.
So when you guys get a free moment, watch Doubt It. It's like a small mini movie about Steph Curry. It's about 30 minutes long on YouTube.
Mhm. We definitely gonna check that out. Send that information to us.
I watched
All
it and almost
right.
made me cry.
For sure. Any other closing thoughts? Anybody want to go through the comments?
That's it. See y'all. Look, see y'all tomorrow, front and center for Game 5.
For sure.
And
For sure.
I'm looking for. Let me do my little predictions. I'm looking for Draymond to have an epic game. I'm looking for GP2 to have crazy steals. And I'm looking for Klay Thompson to bring 6 into 5.
For sure. That's predictions. So they win in game 3. I mean game 5. They win in the third game.
Yep.
Go up 3-2. That's what I meant to say.
Yep.
I'm sorry. So
Yep.
So you predict that they in game 5 going 3-2. What do you think, Alfredo?
Man, I think I got Boston.
Okay.
Game 5.
I like Boston because I like that they're ascending. I like that this has been a heavyweight battle, basically.
Yeah.
There's been a couple blowouts in there, but it's been a heavyweight fight. It's epic. They throwing like haymakers at each other and trying to see who gonna fall, and they not falling. So I could see it going either way, Boston or the Warriors. It would be nice to see Boston. So we got Shot Black from The Talking Truth. Reach out to her, please, ASAP. You see how she drops the knowledge. She also drops the knowledge on relationships, on how to keep your spirit clean and pure, and a prayer warrior at that. We talk about all that. We ain't worried about nobody looking at our channel because we talk about what we believe in. We believe in God, strong faith. We got Alfredo. Come here, hey, come here. Come, hurry up. We about to close out. Hurry up.
Is that my cousin? Hey,
Yeah, come
beautiful.
on.
Hey, mama. Hey, mama. She be killing me so. Whatever.
Dwight, she just showed up, and we was waiting. Me and April was trying to wait for her to get here so she could jump on, and so she could throw that thing in the circle. So today's episode, we're gonna close out. We appreciate all the commenters. We appreciate everybody that showed up, watched, stayed through the whole thing. And we're gonna get my cousin onto YouTube finally, since I've started. So I'm gonna press her and push her into getting onto YouTube when she comes up here this week. I'm excited about that, so we can do a live show. All three of us, me, Alfredo, and Shot Black. Show the shirt. Shout out who did your shirt.
Kuzan Designs. Kuzan Designs. My god sister Lolita Johnson. She do custom anything. So now we got to get some 3-point stand stuff for John.
Thanks,
for JB. For JB.
Me and Alfredo, 3-point stance on YouTube and at 3-point stance pod on Twitter. We want y'all to stand up and stand for what you believe in. We up out of here, Alfredo. You got any words?
Stay true.
Right.
Peace.
Proud of him. Mr. JB in the 3-point stance pod. I'm so proud of you. Hats off. Now you can help me level up. I am Shy Black.
Don't play with me. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. You're watching the 3-point stance podcast. Tap in.
All right, I'm Slim. I'm from Chicago. Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, baby. Let's go. You're watching the 3-point stance pod. Chicago White Sox is the team. My name is Eric Chavarria, the Tiburon. Life, and you are listening to the 3-point stance podcast. Ya tú sabes, se habla español.
This your boy Keys. I'm from Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan, and you're watching the 3-point stance podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Zach. My favorite teams are Chicago White Sox, Chicago Blackhawks, and Chicago Bulls. You're listening to the 3 Point Stand Podcast.